Good afternoon, everyone. Jonathan Davis here with Davis AutoSports. Excited to offer you guys, as you see, a absolutely gorgeous 2003 Toyota Tacoma TRD four-wheel drive crew cab. This truck is in absolutely beautiful condition inside and out, as well as drivability. I'm the owner of Davis AutoSports. I've essentially put my hands on all 300 to 400 Tacomas that we've sold. If you're familiar with us, you know that we specialize in them. And considering the mileage, this is the nicest Tacoma that we've had in. It does have 179,000 miles, but it truly looks like a legit 30,000 mile truck. It's that nice. It was owned by a one-star general in the military. Anytime I get a vehicle in that's military owned, for the most part, it's in phenomenal condition, and that's the exact case on this truck. Fully serviced, timing belt water pump was done around 130 some thousand miles, so you're good there. This thing is 100% ready to go, turnkey, and a beautiful, beautiful truck. Obviously, color keyed fender flares. This paint, this color paint on Tacomas usually has a tendency, both on Tacomas and Tundras, to have all sorts of thinning on the fenders, the hood, the roof, all over the place. We've painted so many of these, whether they're blend jobs. This is a common area that they thin out. These are just reflections on the lights. That's not paint thinning, that's just a reflection. See that? So anyway, and that is not the case on this Tacoma. This thing's been garage kept. It does have, if you probably didn't notice it at the first go around, it sits up just a hair higher. It has a Bilstein 5100 suspension setup on it, so roughly 1.5 to 2 inches, and the back is slightly raked as well. So really, really good looking truck. I would rate the exterior of this truck, considering the mileage, a strong 9.5 out of 10. As we walk around, I'll do some close-ups. You won't see any major wear at all. Only thing you're gonna find are very slight scratches, very small scratches, not long scratches, not key marks that have been touched up. So we'll start with the exterior and go from there. Please make sure to watch this whole video to get a lot of information. You could also get additional information on our website at davisautosports.com. The paint looks phenomenal for 2 reasons. The owner kept it in great condition, and then we did our full paint correction service on this truck. A truck this color, this size, is about a 4 to 5 day process. Our first step is to wash the truck, get all the major contaminants off. We then clay bar it, and then we mask off anything that's black, all the trim, the mirrors, the emblems, the belt moldings, all that stuff gets taped off so that it doesn't get hit with sandpaper or the buffer wheel or anything like that during the process. So everything gets masked off, and from there I'll walk you through what we do to the whole truck, but I'll just show you on this particular panel. But this gets done to every portion of this truck. So once it's prepped with the clay bar and everything, this whole panel, if there's small individual scratches, those will get hit with water in a high or lower grit sandpaper, depending on the thickness of the clear and base coat, about 2,000 or 2,500, just to sand those scratches out. And then from there, once the spot sanding is done, we then do the whole panel with a 3,000 grit. Sometimes we'll do it with a 2,500, then a 3,000. And that takes a lot of time because you got to sand every part to make sure it's all uniform throughout. Once it's sanded, it looks dull. It almost looks gray. So you then use a gritty compound with a high-speed buffer, and we use a mix of 4-inch pads, 8-inch pads, 10-inch pads, different machinery, depending on what material we're working with. And then so it all gets buffed with a high-speed buffer, back and forth, to get that hazing from those sand marks out. Well, it's a multiple step process. The compound in steel or a wool pad gets it better, but it doesn't get it to what you see right now. So the next step is using a polish lubricant, which is not as gritty as the compound, and a different style pad, a softer pad, and then it starts bringing the clear coat back to life. But I mean, you're doing the edges, you're going down, takes a lot of time. From there, that gets the scratches and swirl marks from the compound out. You're still left with hazing, circular hazing from the high-speed buffer that you'll see a lot of people stop at that point, and when you look at the paint, you'll just see a bunch of haze marks everywhere. So from there, we do a ultra polish with even a softer pad, which gets all those out, and then we do a final wax. So what you see on this truck is the nicest paint that this truck could ever have, no matter what you do. The gloss is amazing, the softness is amazing, and from this step, the paint won't get nicer. But if you want us to ceramic coat the paint, which will completely protect it, I'm sure most of you guys know what ceramic coating is. Usually for about a year to 2 years. That's an additional cost because we already spend so much time on doing that. Plus the materials are very expensive. We use only 3M products. So just in the sandpaper, the compound, the polish, the pads, all that, just the materials alone, it's about $150, and it's about 5 days to do it. So that gets done to the entire truck. From there, anything that's black gets removed and gets painted, not with spray paint, but with automotive paint to give everything a nice dark look, including the belt moldings, where other dealers will put Armor All on it so it looks good, but it's also contains silicone and different things where it actually makes it worse. My fingers are dry. That is just a paint on there. There's no grease or anything like that. So as we go through this thing, you'll see the paint is absolutely beautiful. Now, paint correction isn't applying paint, it's just making whatever's there even nicer. So if there's certain scratches like that are through the clear coat, we just touch those up. But that gets touched up before we start sanding the vehicle down. That way the touch-up paint is flat. A lot of times when you touch up paint, it looks worse than the scratch because it's raised and everything else. So anything that we touch up is nice and flat and you barely notice it. You can notice it up close, but from a distance you don't notice it. So there are few of those throughout the entire truck. Wheels are in great condition. There's a slightly larger size tire on this. This is a 265/70/16, which you still have plenty of clearance because it does have the Bilstein 5100 lift on it. Check out the bottom of the doors and the rocker panels. They are extremely clean, no rust issues at all. Uh-oh. So we're gonna have to go old school, guys. Steadicam just died on us, so I'm gonna be as steady as I can. But if you take a look at all the bottom of the doors, they all look like that. Same thing with the rockers. They're absolutely perfect throughout. The dog legs. These are all common spots for these trucks to get funky. Look at that corner cab right there. Absolutely perfect. Pinch weld and rocker perfect. Look at that. Brand new. Keep in mind, this is all on a 179,000 mile truck. Another thing, we would not put this much time and effort into making a truck this nice unless mechanically it was worth it. For every one Tacoma that we have that we sell, we passed on probably 10 just to get that one. Little scratch right there, and a little paint chip right there that has been touched up. Factory TRD, it's a real TRD. All the headlights, marker lights, and fog lights are all original Toyota. Also, in full disclosure, this truck has a perfect history, clean and clear title. Carfax, however, does show an accident. It shows it. Carfax labels accidents in 3 different manners. They label them in minor, moderate, and major. Minor is less than 500. Moderate is 500 through $1,000 worth of damage, and then major is over 1,000. This is labeled as a moderate. However, it was labeled. I'm going to pop the hood for you guys. Now, obviously, this is not something we have to disclose, but it's something that we do just to be completely transparent. Just give me 1 second. So Carfax shows that it was in some sort of front accident. Here's my problem with that. That's a factory issued VIN plate, so this fender has not been replaced, and there's no tape line on here. That's original factory fade, so this has not been painted and the bolts have not been turned. This is the factory radiator support right here. Completely original, no issues whatsoever. That's a factory issued VIN plate. These VIN plates are only issued from the factory. Dealers can't even get them. And this also has not been painted, and the bolts have not been turned for it to be removed or anything like that. There's no paint work or Bondo or filler or anything in the fenders. And another thing, all the marker lights, let's just say it was, so we determined that the body's original. If let's just say it was sort of hitting the front with the bumper and the grille and the lights and everything. Every single one of these lights, Toyota, we inspected it, yep, Toyota there and Toyota there. Same thing with the fog lights, they're all Toyota, every single one of them, Toyota. That one has a little bit of condensation in it. The back side of this chrome bumper is also Toyota, and this is original. The only thing we didn't determine is this top valance right here, and this actual insert of the grill, and these little guys pop out. Now that is painted right there, and that is also painted. This grill is not painted. I can't imagine. These do come off all the time. You'll see them all over the place. When we get these in, we always have to replace them because they just pop off real easy. But nonetheless, so for it being labeled as a moderate, which would be 500 to 1,000, I have no idea what was done because, like I said, the radiator support, everything is original. So I'm not sure. The only thing that now I'll show you something else too. While I have this open, a quick shot of the engine bay. That's an original Toyota hood slash bug guard. You can't get those anymore, and you can't get factory Toyota headlights. So I believe the report was in 2015 or 16, and even back then you can't get this stuff. So just want to be transparent about it. Either way, it's not a big deal. Most vehicles that are almost 20 years old have been in some sort of incident or accident or an insurance claim of some sort. I've had people had windshields replaced, claimed it on their insurance, and that showed up, because anytime a insurance is notified and a claim is made, then that gets reported. And Carfax doesn't distinguish anything other than the amount it costs and where it happened. So for all we know, it could have been a windshield or something like that. I don't know. Just want to be completely open about that. Passenger side just as clean. The only thing to note on this entire truck is the top of this fender has a little bit about what I was telling you about. It's very slight fading right there. We will be more than happy to paint that at cost if that's something that you wanted to do. We didn't want to go crazy with redoing everything. Some people say, well, you paint corrected it, why not do that? Well, then that just falls into so many other small things that we can do. And at the end of the day, it's 179,000 mile Tacoma, and it is beautiful, but we got to stop at some point. Most people aren't going to care about that. Beautiful paint all the way down. And the body, if you just look at the body of this thing, it's incredibly straight, extremely clean. The emblems are in great condition. Nice side steps. Once again, the rockers. Oh, while we're here, original VIN plate on the door. Bottom of the doors, beautiful. Rockers, beautiful. Pinch welds. Original VIN plate. I mean, look at the bottom of these doors. They look brand new. As nice as can be. Even the weather stripping is perfect. I mean, just absolutely beautiful. I'll go ahead and, check out this. These rear bumpers usually are really funky on these trucks. They start building up rust in here and in here. And as you see, this bumper and the cap are in great condition. Usually the tailgates are all scratched up and dented up. Not the case here whatsoever. Got a nice little mini toolbox right there. Factory issued VIN plate. Factory issued VIN plate. So every panel on this truck is completely original. Let me take these keys out. Speaking of keys, look at that. That's something that you get from a one-star general. All the remotes, all the keys to the toolbox, everything. Door panels, beautiful. 100% smoke-free truck. I don't smoke. I don't buy vehicles that have been smoked in. And also, due to the material, it's like a velour. You get any ash on this and it just burns. If you guys own these and you smoke, you know what I'm talking about. You can't hide these trucks from being a smoker. Rear differential lock. Look at this steering wheel for 179,000 miles. I mean, it's not gummed up. It's not slippery. It doesn't feel sticky or nasty. Just extremely, extremely clean. You would never know this truck had these miles on it. I mean, just beautiful condition all the way around. Carpets look brand new. I always like to look at just a small thing that I like to do is look at seat belts and how clean they are, which this one's very, very clean. I'll go ahead and start the truck up. We'll take it on a drive here in a moment. Turn the AC on as well. Very hot today. I mean, bolsters in great condition on all the seats. So these seats can almost look like they're stained. But it's sort of both the design that's in there. It's sort of a weird design, and also the way you rub it. It's sort of like suede. It'll give sort of different lighting and variations in it. So very, very clean. Starts up perfect. I mean, it's a Tacoma. Things should run 500,000 miles if taken care of. So a nice Kenwood double din. You got your USB, your aux, your Bluetooth, It's a really, really nice system. We're just backing out of the shop. So I have 5 children, 3 are driving, and every one of them, when they got of age to drive, the older 3, I gave them a choice between a Cherokee, a Tacoma, or a 4Runner. And obviously the 4Runner with the O2 in back shares the same drive line and engine and everything else. So there's if you hear any of that, there's light bulbs and stuff inside that glove box. That's not like the dash shaking or anything like that. It's pretty loud in there. But you know, as if you're looking at these, you know, I'd rather have my child in one of these with 200,000 miles that's been well taken care of than your average, you know, you name it, truck or SUV with, you know, even 100,000 miles. We got some guys loading up here. If they're gonna, you know what? Let's turn around here. All power components have been tested and all work as they should. Mirror will go in, out, up, and down. In, out, up, and down. Door locks. And I can tell you this thing is blowing ice cold. You would never know in a million years that this truck had 179,000 miles. Not by the way it looks, runs. I mean, it's absolutely incredible. By far one of the nicest Tacomas we've ever had in, considering the mileage. And you can scratch the mileage off. I mean, if you were to look at this truck and not look at the miles, and especially if you look at your average Tacoma that's out there and you look at the paint on this, the interior, the drivability, functionality of everything, how well everything works, how clean all the knobs and controls are and everything, you would think that this was a low mileage, you know, 20, 30, 40,000 mile Tacoma. I have to pass on so many of these that I come across with 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100,000 miles because they're in just terrible condition. You know, a lot of people that own these just, they say, oh, well, they run forever. I really don't need to take care of them or clean them or any of that. And you know, it shows on a lot of them. So they're just getting harder to come across, and that's one of the reasons the values are going up and the desirability They're just phenomenal trucks. But to find one like this, most of our Tacomas sell at a premium price point because we typically do sell them with lower mileage and in pristine condition, great service history. We service a lot of them ourselves, and we ran this through the shop, and it didn't need anything. Usually, if you look at our Tacomas for sale, or any vehicle for that matter, we have a pretty long list of items on our listings that we did to the truck. And with this one, we didn't really have to do anything mechanically because it was all there ready to go. So we did the cosmetic stuff that we talked about, but other than that, it doesn't need anything. And we actually do a lot of preventative stuff. Even if stuff is questionable, we do it because it adds value to the truck. So it's sort of it's a win-win for us. Very smooth acceleration. I'm going to let the RPMs drop. Full throttle, great downshift. I'm going to come off just a hair. Perfect shift. I mean, probably the first time it's been above 4,000 RPMs. And it just tracks perfectly. This road, I'm sure you've noticed, we've passed nothing but semi trucks. This is a major logging road, and it's got some deep crowns in it, lots of bumps. As we just passed the semi, we're passing another semi coming up. So this road's in really poor condition, and tracking completely straight. All right, guys, we could continue this test drive for another hour. You're going to see the same thing. There's going to be no failure of any parts or anything like that. Just want to show you the drivability is just like the rest of the truck. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us at 855-955-3377. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, we only post this video on YouTube to host it directly on our website. So we just use their service of hosting the video. This is not our full advertisement. So if you want additional information like pricing and all that, we don't put it in the actual video or in a title of it or anything like that, because things that change, we change them on our website, the only place that we sell our vehicles, and on eBay. So additional information can be viewed on our website. If you have any questions and you're viewing this on YouTube, please don't ask the questions in the comment section. We don't check comments for questions, whether how much it is or anything like that. Contact us if you're a serious, interested potential buyer by calling the office, 855-955-3377, or emailing us, sales@davisautosports.com. Thank you.